There's never been a better time than now to stop what you're doing and tune in to Straight Up, TAB Radio's weekly podcast that will guide you through the difficult journey that is the punt. Whether it be racing or sport, the Straight Up team has your back. Now, from the studios of TAB Radio, welcome to Straight Up.
McGuane gets past Brown. They're lifting the pies. They can sense it. McGuane's had 5 bounces. Nearly get another one. Round he goes. In he goes to an open goal. Mickey McGuane, goal of the year.
Mick McGuane joins us on Straight Up for this AFL preview thanks to Dankz Furniture.
You won't see better than that.
With 6 local stores in the metro area, there's one near you.
Hang on, 3 o'clock. A very good afternoon to you, Rylie Morgan.
Good afternoon, Marty. Doesn't that stinger just get better each and every time we play it?
I can't believe it wasn't against Essendon. Everyone kicks goals of the year against the Dons, but you picked on poor old Carlton, Nick. Very good afternoon.
G'day, Marty. G'day, Rylie.
How are you,
Couldn't do
Mick?
it now, boys. I know that. Hi, fellas.
The only one capable of doing that is Rylie Morgan. Get this. In the league he's playing at, they're undefeated. He's leading the goal kicking. He's leading the Brownlow medal voting. And it looks like it's going to be a season he'll never forget.
Oh, he's called it early, Mick. We're only in June. There's a lot can go wrong.
Hang in there, Rylie. Nothing wrong with winning the goal kicker and the Brownlow medal at your level. Good luck with that.
Oh, thanks, mate. No, it's going well so far. These dreaded bye rounds continue kicking off tonight over here in the West. Marty's Bombers up against the Dockers. Marty's just declared them to me off air, Mick, as well. Dockers $1.15, the Dons at $5.50, the line at 31.5 points, and the total points 152.5.
What's the weather like, first and foremost? Is it going to rain all night?
No.
Because I think that might have a say in what we do.
No, it won't.
It's pretty good at the moment outside.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a bit of Gloucester Park Trots the other night, and there was a deluge of rain there, and a bit of wet weather yesterday, wasn't there? So
it was wet.
That question will probably determine what we do from a betting perspective, because I thought the unders might have been a realistic chance if Tuesday night's weather was replicated tonight.
Mick, just looking at the radar and on the long range, 512 composite kilometres, there's not a lot out there in the Indian Ocean coming through, so that we might get through.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, if that's the case, I think Freo, with their probably settled environment, bar the couple of changes they've made with Darcy Switkowski out injured, Ace comes in and O'Driscoll, a couple of runners. Ace can play a role, as we know, and you look at the injury-riddled Essendon, they bring in young Vicentini. He's the 11th debutant for Essendon this year, which is remarkable. That's on the back of Goldstein being managed, and their 2 other primary ruckmen both injured in the grandstand, and Dave Wicks has been omitted from the team. But I just think the mature, experienced team should hold fort tonight and win the game well. If they want to be a legitimate top 8 team, top 6 team, they've got to win these games, and they've got to bully these younger players who are inexperienced, especially on the road, in a hostile environment. And the playing group has a great opportunity to create that environment against a very inexperienced group. So I'm anticipating Freo to win at the short odds, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they cover the line if they get their game going.
The Dons might be on track to give everyone on the list a game at this rate, Mark. Be the first team ever to do so.
Yeah. And I've got to say, I love Brad Scott during the week when he's come out and he's wished our man Patrick Voss all the best. And he said, 2 years he was at Essendon, we never gave him a game, but every Essendon fan in the world knew that he could play. But I'm wishing you all the best, and we're just rapt that you're going so well at another club. Have you heard the best gaslighting? Comes up with your premier saying that Melbourne's one of the best places to live in the world, the most livable city. They actually drive the cars through the shopping centres now, Mick. Going beautifully.
Yeah, she's a ghost town, the city of Melbourne. There's no question about that. But, yeah, I was surprised because I watched Boss play a fair bit of VFL footy because one of our boys was aligned to the Essendon Footy Club. Obviously, Campbell Gray there for a period, but also young Nico Kearney, who was on the St Kilda list before he went to Essendon VFL. And I saw Voss play, and I just liked his competitiveness. He makes some stupid mistakes at times. You know what you're going to get, but one thing you do know you'll get from him is a real desire to compete. His aerial work's really strong. He can fluff a kick for goal, but then he can kick a miraculous one. So he's enigmatic. But one thing you do know, he's going to be in front of the ball tonight. And if there's one game he wants to play well against, is the Bombers. And we've seen a lot of players leave certain clubs. And you've heard Sam Collins come out publicly, more or less ridicule Ross Lyon in a way, with what was said a few weeks ago, knowing full well Ross Lyon was coaching Fremantle at the time when Collins didn't get a look in, and he's probably one of the best defenders in the comp right now.
Yeah, I would rather hear the coach say, yeah, we made a blue with that one. But good luck to the kid.
Well, just come out and say it.
Yeah. Good luck to the kid.
At that time, he had deficiencies in his game, and obviously in the new environment, and he's grown and matured, and there's certain growth in his game that we couldn't get right at Essendon, and we weren't going to gift him a game because of that until he done it. But yeah, sometimes you just go down the old choir boy mentality, just not to give the opposition ammo. But sometimes you just own the mistake and so wrong.
He's in form. Yeah. He's laid a good platform, Marty, to do so and have another big game tonight.
So what about this game on Friday? Geelong $1.41, Brisbane $2.90. That line's at 15.5. The market hasn't really moved. Just a little bit of specking for Brisbane, but Dangerfield plays his 350th. I'm a great fan. My man on the right there, he's not so convinced about Danger, but I think he goes all right.
Geez, Riley. What water are you drinking?
No, Marty's just playing around. He's having a bit of fun. We're having a bit of fun off air with Paddy Dangerfield.
Oh, no, come on, tell him. You said you like him as a player. But
he's an absolute superstar as a player, but he also doesn't mind a little bit of carry on every now and then. So, maybe I'm being too harsh,
I think, Mick, I don't know if you've had an opportunity, but the AFL on afl.com.au, they've put 5 of his better games on there to have a look at. And I just revelled in it today, but the 5th game is when he injured his leg against Hawthorn. They put him down to full forward. What did he kick about 5 on one leg? The bloke's a freak.
Yep. No, he's been a star for a long period of time, and you sort of come back to watching him as an early player, and the thing that hasn't changed is his speed and his aggression at the ball. He's just a bull, and one thing that really stands out from other players is when he goes to ground, he's just got this incredible recovery to get back up and then go from 0 to nearly top-end speed. He's like the Superman, that train ride up in the Gold Coast for the kids at Dreamworld or wherever it is. The G-force that he's got is just incredible, and anyone gets in his way, they certainly know they've got to be strong in the tackle to retain his strength and speed, and obviously trying to break the tackle is what he wants to do, and you just got to be strong to retard him. But full credit to Paddy. These players will live for him tonight. He gave a lot to others in their milestone games. He's been a point of difference when the game's been in the balance. Did like Joel Selwood, you just know what you're going to get every time they cross the line. And this bloke's no different. I think even though De Conning's out with that injury from his shoulder, Paddy Dangerfield playing in front of the ball, a little bit of midfield, I think his teammates will lift. Even though Brisbane will respond enormously from last week's disappointment, you can't survive AFL footy and have 28 tackles against a team that certainly loves to run and gun the footy like GWS did. And they just pierced and cut through them too easily. And I got no doubt internally they would have been read the right act to say, okay, we're starting to drink our own bathwater, are we? The hunger of last year is not the hunger of last year. How we played finals, that's certainly not on show at the moment. If we want to be regarded as the real deal, which we think we are internally, they'd be saying that we're good enough to win it again. We're in a good position based on ladder position. We haven't been at our best on a consistent basis. But if we want to serve up that rubbish, a bit like Hawthorn for 2 weeks when they had 38 and 36 tackles and they come out against the Bulldogs and have 82, 8 more in their previous 2 weeks. So I think we'll see a response, and it'll be all about taking the space away from Geelong's ball carrier. No time, no space. That's got to be their mantra, and put an enormous amount of pressure to generate turnovers. And on the back of that, we know the Brisbane Lions can score on the back of turnover as good as anyone.
Big game for their back six, Mick. Obviously, you'd be hard-pressed to find a forward line functioning better than the Cats at the moment. And without Jack Payne, who some would argue has been their most crucial or important key defender back there this year, they're fair to say they could be up against it.
Yeah, I think so. If they get their game going, particularly at that GMHBA, they just know the dimensions really well. And as you said, Riley, just the understanding of spatial awareness in front of the ball. You know, you're going to get Close and Myers and Manor, Stengel getting high to operate the space behind for Cameron and Shannon Neal, who's a much improved player but a great athlete. with space to work back into. It's going to be a challenge for the Lions, and that's the reason why pressure's got to be at the forefront of their minds. I think they'll have a little catch-cry operation pressure. Everyone must buy in. And on the back of that pressure we apply, the turnovers we create, we can go back at Geelong's defence and see if we can penetrate the scoreboard.
Early start on Saturday morning. Carlton are $1.27, North Melbourne $3.75, 23.5. This game gets underway 11:20 our time, sort of later start, I should say, for us over here in the West. And the market has not budged all week.
Geez, the market's distorted here, isn't it? Have I got it wrong? Where's Carlton's goals going to come? No Curnow, no Mackay. O'Keefe's out with a hamstring. They're going to rely on Lewis Young because, of course, Brody Kemp's still out. I'm not sure. It's just $1.27 seems short enough to me. I couldn't possibly back the Blues. One thing you will know with North Melbourne, they'll continue to play the game out of every living minute of every living quarter. Will it be good enough to get across the line? I'm happy to take $3.75 in a small head-to-head bet to find out, because I just can't trust Carlton. Even after last week, that blitz start against the Eagles, they kicked 5 goals after quarter time. They were pretty laborious. We know they struggled to transition against a young, energetic midfield group of North Melbourne who were very good at stoppage. If they take away that territory ascendancy that Carlton have been getting early in games and they hold up on the scoreboard and they think they're a legitimate chance at half-time because they're close enough on that scoreboard, North might get this one. And they're pretty confident, North. I know that for a fact. They think they can get a scalp here, and I think from a value standpoint, when you're having a bet, maybe North is the value bet of the round.
Yep, I like it, Mick. I think the Roos are value there at the $3.75 as well. Saturday afternoon, Port Adelaide taking on Sydney, who are going to be bolstered, fair to say, with a few very important players back into that lineup. Port Adelaide $1.62 favourites, the Swans at $2.30, Lions 7.5.
Yeah, I thought Sydney were probably the value if the little players you're touching on without using their names in Marty, Roberts, Goulden and Papley all come in. Geez, they're 4 big inclusions, aren't they, if they all do play? Papley and Marty in that front half, Roberts off half-back, who certainly gives them some attack, and Goulden, he can play anywhere, as we know. He'll be looked after on the outside probably initially, but knowing how he prepares, wouldn't be surprised if they throw him around the action and try to work in tandem with either Heaney and Warner or Rowbottom at various stages to give them some creativity out of that centre square, which has been pretty ordinary to this point of the year. Port Adelaide, I reckon they're getting their DNA back, fellas, just to play Ken Hinkley's way. I reckon they've changed the way they want to play under Carr, knowing he's a part of that succession, trying to get an outnumber, run and gun it. And probably lost sight of the fact that Georgiades is a very good footballer. I think they were conscious of losing Dixon. What are we going to kick to now that he's not there? They tried to have a different offensive mode, which probably bit them on the backside at various stages. But I think now, when you've got Horn Francis and Butters in the middle with a bit of Drew, no Wines is out, it's all about getting territory, come behind your attack, squeeze the ground, and that's the reason why they've always been a team that's very hard to score against. Very rarely do you get back-to-front scores against Port Adelaide because their defensive 18-man structure is always intact, good gap control, they're in sync, they squeeze exits, they cover those exits really well and get repeat inside 50s because of that. And that's returned the last 2 weeks, and they'll be trying to do that against Sydney again.
Okay, the next of the games we look at, and this is Collingwood are playing St Kilda, 5:35 on Saturday evening. They're $1.16 Collingwood, St Kilda 5.20, so no change here. It's actually St Kilda gone to 5.25 now, 30.5. Haven't played each other since round 2 of last year. The vagaries of the draw, I know we go on and on and on and on and on and on about it. In 2010, Mick, they played each other 4 times with the drawn grand final.
Yeah.
And then since 2011, they played twice. And then every year since, they've only played each other once. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? It is weird. And let's face it, when these two clubs are up and going, particularly over in Melbourne.
They're good games.
Saints fans.
Yeah,
Saints fans fall out of the trees to come and support their club. And as you know, Collingwood, rain, hail or shine, they'll turn up, irrespective of how the team's going on a general basis. I think Collingwood should be able to master St Kilda. St Kilda have been too indifferent for me. I'd love to see Ross reinvigorate the team this week with making some ruthless decisions at the selection table. You know, Philippou should come in. It's likely the young Alex Taru, a young boy from the Gippsland Power last year that I watched. You'll love him, Marty and Rylie. He's a young competitor. He goes for his marks. He bashes and crashes in the air. he just doesn't fear his body's going to get hurt in any way, shape or form, and I don't reckon that'll change playing against men. It's certainly ingrained in him. Wilson got dropped, had 30 plus on the weekend, was very good. Does he come back in? And even Garcia and Boxall, they're playing strong VFL footy. So there's 5 names they could bring in with youthful enthusiasm against the measurement of the competition. Why not try it? And the other aspect, as much as McRae's been good since he's gone to St Kilda and Steele is a constant around centre bounce and non-ball brigade, I'd probably love them to see to reinvigorate that area of the ground and try to find solutions to get Sinclair and Wanganeen Malira as centre bounce players and work from that point. Yeah, with one of the experienced players in McRae or Steele who can rotate through there as well. But I think they lack creativity. I reckon they've tried to increase their ball movement on the back of those 2 boys being behind the ball. They give them the footy, and that's why they get 30 nearly every week. But do they do much damage? I'd love to see them get the ball 25 times and go centre forward and then try to hit their undermanned forward line, knowing full well that King's not going to be a part of their forward line structure for the not-too-distant future. So I'd love to see Ross bite the bullet, bring some youth in, reinvigorate the midfield against the Collingwood midfield that's playing pretty strong footy at the moment.
First of those Sunday games, 3.5 minutes away from Northam, race 6 Pinjarra, I should say, race 6 getting underway. GWS taking on the Gold Coast, set to be one of the games of the round. The Giants are $1.85 favourites, ever so slightly from the Suns at $1.95. The line at 1.5 points and the total points 162.5.
Yeah, well, it's a great opportunity for the Gold Coast Suns to go to NG Stadium and try to take on a team that's been indifferent. They were good when they had to be good last week against Brisbane and got the job done, but they've got no Sam Taylor. Daniels is important. He's got an abductor. Does Toby Green come into the team who's got that glute? He may return, and then Stringer's a chance to play as well. So they could have some undermanned players, some not match-fit players in Stringer. And then Gold Coast, what do they do with Lockie Weller? Farah kicked 5 at VFL footy. Do they go 3 tools to stretch GWS's defence, knowing Sam Taylor's not there, and bring in Ethan Reid? Have a 3rd tool in that part of the ground to work with Cadman and Hogan, and a bit of Riccardi and Rogers Jr. He could have that speed influence as well because he's going okay at the level underneath. Probably the value lies with Gold Coast, but you just anticipate GWS should get on a roll and be wanting to win this game. Will I have a bet in this game? I'll sit back and watch it. No bet for me, please.
Okay, Rich, I'll leave you there. 3, 9, 10 and 11. Holly Noddle gets Leatron home at $6, $1.80. Auto Cruise at $2.10 and Be Awesome at $6.30.
First winner for Holly in the saddle as well, so well done there. But moving on and moving back to Mick McGuane, courtesy of Dankz Furniture, joining us for his preview of this weekend's AFL action. Final game of the round, shortest price favourites of the weekend, the Bulldogs. 104, they take on Richmond, $11. The line at 48.5 and the total points 173.5. Mick, as we welcome you back in.
Yeah, Riley, I think it's just a fait accompli. The Bulldogs will be too good, too strong around the middle of the ground where they'll get the advantage. And could Sam Darcy kick double-digit goals on a day if it's dry? Norton will give him some space. Is there a match-up for him? Miller will obviously get a first crack at him. Campbell Gray's injured. Noel Boulder will be rolling off to probably zone that area as best he possibly can. But Sam Darcy, he could have a day out if they get hold of the ball through the middle, which I think they will. So I'm anticipating the Western Bulldogs to win by over the line. And even if they get hold of them in one quarter, there could be an 8 to 10 goal buffer. And then the total score over could be a realistic possibility as well.
Okay, let's line these up, Mick. Get your little multi that you like to throw our way for our listeners for Dankz.
Yeah, well, I think tonight's game, considering the conditions, will be good now. Over. I'm not sure what that line was. Early in the week, it was 153. I looked. I think it's probably around about that figure, considering the conditions. I think Geelong and Brisbane, they'll, as much as Brisbane will bring heat, I think both teams have got the capacity to score. So I'm really confident they'll get over the 168.5 if that's still the line.
165.5, Mick.
Yeah, well, that's even better.
Yep.
3 more points, which advantages our bet. And the Western Bulldogs versus Richmond, I think that'll be overs as well. So if you multi those 3 teams up at the value of $1.80, $8.89, $1.90, It's around $7 you can get in the marketplace. And I think that's a good way to make a quid on the weekend in AFL footy land.
There we go. Only 2 bye rounds to come, thankfully. Rounds out next weekend. Mick, do we have any trots tips for our listeners at Kilmore tonight? Race 2 only 5 minutes away.
I thought race 2, it's a horrible program there tonight, I must say. Not really confident on the card. But I thought race 2, there was only 2 possible chances. I'm not sure what the market's done, but 4 or 5, one of them will win. And in race 3, our old favourite that we tipped a couple of weeks ago when it was backed off the map, number 10, Glenline, will be hard to beat, but it's only over the short trip of the mile. So on the back of that, I reckon number 4's got a terrific chance, maybe spearing straight to the front and over the short mile trip. It could be hard to run down from a young driver that drives a lot better in front than anywhere else he finds himself in the field. So race 2, 4 or 5, I think there's only 2 hopes. Go the value play of the 2, and maybe race 3. Number 10 will be in the market. Number 4 could be the over the odds, considering the run it could get up on speed. And Riley, I've got one for you, I reckon, tonight at Ascot.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know what it's setting up. We tipped one here over in Melbourne yesterday. It was $9 into $5. Got our loyal listeners at RSN an opportunity to back a winner. So this 4 in the Gold Cup. I think the magic of Aidan O'Brien will come to the fore with Illinois. We know Kiprios has been the star of the show for the last 2 or 3 years of that stable, particularly over staying distances. But Illinois is a very good young stayer. It'll be very strong. And there's one in race 6 that's a very nice horse to tame. Watch it. It's got upside. It'll be very hard to beat in race 6 on the program. So Illinois in race 4, the Gold Cup, and race 6 to tame. I think to tame by memory was number 2.
Little birdie tells me, Mick, you've been seeing them quite well over there at Royal Ascot to start off for the first couple of days. So he's hoping we can find a couple more winners there tonight. Mick McGuane brought to us courtesy of Dankz Furniture, the comfort of home. Beautifully done as always, Mick, and we'll do it again next week.
Good on you, fellas. Enjoy the weekend, and good luck to your Bombers, Marty.
Thanks, Mick. They're going to need a whole lot of it. Thank you very much. There he goes, Mickey McGuane for Dankz Furniture. Holly Noddle secures the first win as a jockey. Some beautiful scenes emanating out of Pinjarra there with Fred and Judith Kersley. We'll come back and have a listen to what Holly had to say after the race.
There's never been a better time than now to stop what you're doing and tune in to Straight Up, TABradio's weekly podcast that will guide you through the difficult journey that is the punt. Whether it be racing or sport, the Straight Up team has your back. Now, from the studios of TAB Radio, welcome to Straight Up.
The old long one there from TJ and Bradley. How are you?
Hi, Mart. Hello, Riles.
Had a lot of people worried
Bradley's
about your no-show last week, but you're back, you're fit, strong.
Oh, yeah, better, thanks.
Yeah.
Studio audience is cleared out this week. Brad's back, not enough room for them,
Took a, crook Thursday morning. Everything took a turn for the worse when they've backed Desert Whisper from $13 into $3.80, and it's won by 600 metres. So it took a turn for the worse, but we've picked up since then. We've come good.
Beautiful.
Just you know the drill, Mart. Bit of penicillin, bit of KFC.
Yep.
8 hours sleep and a couple of frothies, and we're back on deck.
Fantastic work. Fantastic work. Well, what did you think of Holly Noddle winning? 4 kilo
we love those stories, don't we?
Terrific.
We love those stories.
Any interest in Royal Ascot the last 3 nights?
Yes.
2 nights, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing better to do that late at night than just lean back on the couch.
Had our man Rory Flanagan last night. So his first bet, race 2, number 1, got beat. They all got beat fair and square. That was his best. Got beat, a favourite. His second one, race 4, number 1, was second or third favourite. Got beat, run down late. His next best in the big handicap, race 6, number 2, Kennan, has got beaten. Again, run down on its own merits, beaten in about the last 50 metres. It was a 50-1 shot. Paid $7.60 the tick. So he's not a bad man. I've texted him and see if he can come good with a couple more tips for this evening. Mickey McGuane's weighed in with some Royal Ascot action. What's going on there?
Oh, I was listening to him on Melbourne radio yesterday, and he threw one out at $9, and it went bang.
Bang.
So
how about
follow the hot hand.
How about opening day, race 1, and Mark Zara just bobs up on a 16-1 shot?
Oh, we're just leading into next week's Straight Up tour to Royal Ascot.
No, we leave that to Cobbs.
It's going to be led by Mart.
That's Cobbs' territory.
Will you get through customs, Mart?
No. Refusing to go there.
Don't even bother.
Got to be a change of government before I go back to the old country, so that's not happening.
His new knee wouldn't get through. Send all the metal detectors.
I wish it was the new knee at the moment. So we're at Pinjarra on Saturday. Now, what about for the Mundaring Hotel? Butchie boy.
All I can say
is... Joanne, don't forget.
Get them in. Get them in. There's plenty rolling through at the moment.
You've got to remember, if you text, you get on. You've got to read them all out, mate.
I will.
There's a lot of people texting in saying you filter your way through it.
There's plenty to get through. We might be here all night before we start our preview.
Let's make a...
One from Glennie from Fremantle. I like this. He says, Rylie, I am going so bad with the punt. I'm turning back to my St. Ignatius school days for prayer and inspiration.
Yep.
And he sent through the celestial card for this Saturday at Pinjarra Park. He's declared Sister Mary in race 1.
There you go.
He's followed that up with Pray Again in race 2. Tony's Spirit in race 3. Race 4, Frigid. Race 5, True Apostle.
Oh, well done.
Race 6, Earth God. Race 7, Starry Heights. Race 8, Miss Rockjoy. Bracket C. Race 1, The Real Sister Mary. And he says, let's see how we go. It's an early clubhouse leader.
He's the early leader for sure. Yep.
It's an early clubhouse lead there for Glenn from Fremantle.
So what do you think about this meeting, Bradley, out there at Pinjarra on Saturday? Of course, it is Strickland Stakes Day. It is sponsored by Swan Draft, and it is over the 2,000 metres on the Scarp, isn't it? We're on the Scarp?
I think we're back on the
True.
Natural.
Okay, the old
we're expecting rain before and during, so that'll make things a bit sticky.
Yep.
And you sort of see how it goes. I mean, Mart, I don't know about you, but I'm going to assume it's on pace until the track tells me otherwise, but people are going to see this very differently.
Now, this is for Perth, so we'll try and get Pinjarra up, but we're not that far away. 10 to 30 on Friday, 4 to 20 on Saturday.
You'd put a little raincoat on Dougal, wouldn't you, before you...
The Doogs.
Before you walk the champ around the garden.
I snuck him out last night for a little wee, right at half-time of the State of Origin, and he did his business, come back, and I thought I'll just take him to the end because there's a little spot he likes to go to, and he thought I was heading down the river, and it was rain, he just jacked up. He said, mate, you've walked past our place, get back there, we're inside, you idiot. It's wet out here. I've done me stuff. He said, no worries, Dukes, you're right. Very sharp dog he is. Very sharp. What about State of Origin last night? How good was it?
Incredible.
It was amazing. It was almost like it was designed to happen.
Are we expecting a similar spectacle?
Do I sense a little trumpet coming on?
No. I think Mr. Volandis was just very keen for maybe Queensland to win that game.
I thought they deserved it.
Yeah, I did too.
The Munster.
Yeah.
Gee, he was good.
Oh, it was a ripping. And then to have the finish like it was grandstand. Big crowd rolls. You were there, 62,000?
I was there in spirit.
Oh, you didn't go?
No, unfortunately not, Mark.
Oh, I thought you had tickets behind the glass.
Nah, I was. It would have been nice to go. It's a big crowd.
Have you ever been to an NRL game live?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. At an NRL field or at an oval?
I went to that one last year with was it Dolphins at
the Dolphins.
Members Equity around there.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere.
Yeah, it is.
It's good being right up there close to the when the oval's sort of custom made for the rugby pitch.
I like being close enough to just hear the sound they make, Mark.
They crack.
Sound of meat slapping.
Well, that's on Friday.
Body on body.
Yeah.
Should be sponsored by Barbaro Butcher, shouldn't it?
Oh, we used to be.
Barbaros. Actually, we've had some. I remember I said last week anyone who wants to sponsor it, and I think we've got someone on the line. So maybe next week it will be sponsored. Race number 1 on Saturday is the Chaff City Plate for the 2-year-olds. So we're on a soft 7 at the moment. The first to go 12.34, and playing it sweet is $1.85. Looks like it's been a bit easy though, Bradley. Bannard 6, Faradio, 9-7. Radiant Light is 8.50. Buthalesi is 11. Pony Up at 14. Pure Silver, 18. Sister Mary, 31. Lunda's Rascal, 51. And Angel's Point is $91.
500 at the $1.85. Planet Sweet. Plenty of other rank and file money there. Planet Sweet and quite a lot of multis going through it, but it's a pretty quiet betting race. Data punters over east. Those modelers are keen on Bannard early.
Okay, the speed map's a bit tricky here, Riles. I think London's Russell. I wouldn't be surprised if Bannard rolls forward as well, getting up to 1,400, and maybe Pony Up. They could be the three up in the. How have you seen it?
Yeah, pretty similar. I thought Bannard would lead from 2, potentially. Pony Up will roll forward from 5. Wouldn't surprise to see one of Hilly's horses show a bit of
the Rascal.
intent. Yeah, London's Rascal drawn 1 as well. Not a great race to open the program for mine in terms of an interest in getting involved. Planet Sweet was a pretty dominant winner last start, going away from her opposition late at 1,300 metres, and while she does rise 3 kilos at the weights, under the set weights and penalties conditions, she maps for an even better run, I thought, just in behind them than she did that day. I thought she deserved to be sub-even money doing the market, and that's where she situates at the moment at $1.85. I think that's probably bang on the right price. The one from left of field, Faradio, or Faradio, however you want to say it, month between runs, but thought the run on debut behind Two Down Stormy was very good. Didn't think there was a lot between his run and Planet Sweet on that occasion, and he actually meets her 2 kilos better this time around. But the map from that gate for a horse that hasn't shown much gate speed early in its career is the deterrent for mine, given he's likely to end up a fair way back in running with Planet Sweet holding the advantage, or the tactical advantage in that sense. So Planet Sweet on top for me in the opener, very hard to beat, deserves to be in the red, but not a lot of interest from mine. Bradley?
Yeah, pretty settled market. Mart, no massive amount of interest from me either at this stage. I'm interested to see the improvement levels of Faradio, which does look like it's got a fair bit of potential there, and Radiant Light also trialled quite nicely. Pony Up's got some improvement in. I think can run a race if it gets the right sort of on-pace run there, but the market's pretty much sort of settled where I had it, so not finding any betting opportunities yet.
On to race number 2, the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap, 1,400 metres. Start time is 11 minutes past 1, and I just have to rearrange these. Give me 1 second because it's gone to... Yeah, we're right. 1 Leniency is $9. 2 Money Trees, $3.80. 3 Pray Again is $18. 4 Cobb & Co's $6. Cabanco. 5 Bar Times, 21 into 11. That's the first little meerkat of the day. Number 6, Best of the Gods, 11 into 950. 7 Fortune's Luck, 6 to 480. So the bit of betting here. He's Gold is 950. Spec, Mr. Talentino, 14.51. All About the Kraken. Processio is a $19 chance. Again, I thought I'm going to throw one left at field here. I wouldn't be surprised if Money Trees goes forward here with He's Gold, Bar Time. I'd like him to lead on her to lead on Money Trees from barrier 3.
He's Gold.
He's Gold.
Yeah.
Has had priors for leading, hasn't it?
Yeah, Bar Time's another one, as you said.
Yeah, comes across.
So wagering, yeah, there's a fair bit to go through, actually. Local Sharpie Keen Cobb & Co. there. 600 at the 6. Each way support locally Pray Again, at the including a 480 place component. Money Trees, yep, sharp money there. A couple of $300 bets. Eastern States Pros Keen Fortune's Luck. 300 there at the $6. Eastern States Pro Keen each way, Best of the Gods and Bar Time. Yeah, it's a good spread of money.
Yeah, I think it's a good race for Money Trees. I'm pretty keen on his chances here. I think he's a really nice horse on the rise. He was taken back from a wide gate last start at 1,200 metres. I really like the way he attacked the line late, and as Mart touched on, I think he's capable of potentially even leading this, or at worst, if a horse like a He's Gold wants to cross and find the top, just taking that sit in behind them. much closer in running than where he found himself last start, stepping up to the 1,400 metres, which the manner in which he hit the line I don't think is going to be of any issue for him. The unknown is obviously how he handles the wet. You go back through his form and his trials early in his career, and he hasn't seen anything worse than good ground. So that is something, that is a box that he is yet to tick. But I think you're getting a nice enough price to hope that he handles it and gets through it. So it was pretty wet that day, actually, down at Albany on the 16th of May. That was certainly, while it says good in the form guide, there was a bit of rain and moisture in that track for sure. I was down there myself that day, and there was a fair bit of rain around. So I think he'll handle it myself, and I think you're getting a nice enough price to find out, gentlemen. I'm pretty keen on Money Trees in race 2. I think it's a nice race for him.
Yep, tough to argue. I'd want a slightly better price, but with that in mind, I'm leaning towards his gold at the $10 each way around the traps to get away with a pretty nice, comfy on-pace type run and give a good kick. Was not much between them at all last start, so can't see any reason for it to go backwards with this setup. Another one I'm going to look at late is Mr. Talentino, who actually goes really well fresh and trialled quite nicely, I thought, so can absolutely run a race in this. But yeah, with Rolls at Money Trees is absolutely the horse to beat. There'll be a few keen horses like Cobb & Co. and Leniency up the top as well, who's hit the line pretty hard last start. So there's a couple of nice options in this race if you want to punt, Mart.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you tipped Money Trees, didn't you, last start?
No, that was Rusty. It's his favourite horse in WA.
Right, Rusty's golfing tour in Vietnam at the moment.
Ooh, lovely. Had a 10-minute monologue about Money Trees the last time he was in.
Working on his swing.
And the Mauler, I think he's gone to Kalgoorlie, getting ready for a big weekend's racing. He just wanted to get there early, just in case. So
keep the seat warm.
We're a bit short of our normal punters on the show. Have we got a text there for the Mundaring Hotel?
We've got plenty, Marty, and one of our listeners. Hi, boys. Can I find Mick McGuane's tips somewhere? I just missed them. I can give you his tips. He's keen on race 3, number 4, Stand and Deliver at Kilmore. And then he was also keen on, if I'm just looking at it here, I've just lost it. Well done. Mm-hmm. I'll have to get back to you on the second of those. But in the next race, he's keen on the favourite. Race 3, number 4 at Kilmore Trot, Stand and Deliver. And he was pretty keen on the over tonight in the footy between the Dockers and the Dons. He was also keen on the Bulldogs to clear the line. The Bulldogs to clear the line in the overs, the total points overs in that game as well. They're the final game of the round.
And the other one was Geelong game over as well.
Geelong game over, 165.5. Wasn't Rick from Rossmoyne, Mart. Rick from Bindoon sent in his Brownlow predictor. One other one here. Fred Kersley had a pacer called Leachon many years ago. Was very smart.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
So that's a bit before my time, but clearly.
Yep, no, 100%. Who was that from?
It doesn't say here.
So, and Rick from Bindoon, beautiful oranges out that way. You're a Bindoon orange man?
Oh, yeah.
Greg L's asking who the new bloke is with us. Does he have any experience in his field?
He's very good. Don't worry about that. He's particularly good, and he's going to fire up today. Race 3, the Bells Park Training and Adjustment Handicap. This is over the 2,000 metres, and number 1 is Fat Roy Slim. He's a drifter, $6.50 to $9. 2, Dennis Shoe, $8.50. 3, Famous Dane, $7.50 to $6. 4, First Encounter, $2.05 to $1.95. 5, Forever Boy is into $5.50. Tony Spirit is out to $34. Arn Ray is $61. Dutchies Demerit is $23. And a little bit of specking Gracias Dio at $23.
We?
Who?
Well, you were speaking French. First Encounter, local pro keen, 1,000 at the 205. Another 500 there at the $1.95. ESP's, Mart. Like the Gracias deal each way, including a couple hundred each way there at the 20s. Plenty of multis lining up, plenty with First Encounter, which was always going to happen, Ross.
Hard to argue, fair to say.
The unlucky horse?
Yes. We might, before we get into it, Mart, we might go to the martsmaps.com.
Yeah, martsmaps.com. I found this a little tricky one as well. Who wants to lead? Anyone can lead if they want. I'd like to see Famous Dane take it up. Arn Ray could, Dutchies Demerit. There's a few there that work it out. It's a 2,000 metre race, Rolls. I know you don't specialise in them too much. Have you got an idea?
Yeah, there's not a lot of speed in this race. I thought Arn Ray would roll forward from 8. Dennis Shue looked to hold a spot. Famous Dane will be just there as well. They should be relatively compact, I would have thought. Don't think they'll get along at any genuine gallop. I thought First Encounter was, yeah. What more do you say, really? Last weekend, just still reliving that one. But, yeah, CJP just zigged when he should have zagged early doors when the horse actually began okay. Just let Steele in front of him when he probably shouldn't have, and that was the race, really, because they broke up big time. The field did. He found himself at the rear, caught up between two horses who just weren't taking him anywhere into the race, and that's racing, unfortunately, sometimes. But off the manner in which he got to the line at the back end of that race, he's looking for ground now, no doubt about that. Backs up off the 7 days. I think if he keeps them within striking distance, he should prove too good for them. The only slight concern is perhaps for a horse that does get back and need to wind up, the lack of tempo on paper in the race. It's maybe the only slight concern, but I do think he'll be too good for them. At his best is better than these.
Slight concern, just a very slight one. On the back up, lightly raced horse, so now 5-year-old that's had 10 starts on the bounce, which is probably, are we assuming it's an afterthought, Rolls, or was this a plan all along? I'm not sure. Would love to know.
I was listening to Liam Peters' interview on the Sunday morning. I believe he was with you, Marty, on Racing Rewind, and he said that the horse pulled up like he hadn't even gone round. So must have come through the run okay.
But gee, look, it does look his race. One, I'm looking at each way. At Dennis Shue, you're getting better than evens for a place. So maybe from a different punting perspective, you could say, well, I can get $2.15 to run top 3 about this horse instead of taking $1.95 about First Encounter to win. Incredible, stepped up in distance, 600 metres, and just absolutely lapped him, which was so got to be respected now that it's got that grounding run over the staying trip.
For sure.
From 4, they're behind the barriers at Pinjarra. Couple of quick ones for the Mundaring.
Nice bit of Jerry Rafferty, is that, Mark?
I've done that for Richie Ballard's his favourite song.
One off the text line, little trumpet here. Great punting for me, boys. Maroons into the hammer for a try. How good is that? The Butcher's text in and he says, how good are the stats of Leitron's sire Thorn Dancer? 18 runners for 14 winners. Wouldn't be too many around to match him.
Better than McGinnity.
There you go. And Mick from Ellenbrook says, hey, boys, following up on that last one, surely it's Sister Mary into Frigid. That'll be the double on Saturday. Yeah. And then afternoon, boys, we've still got a couple of minutes before we head out to Pinjarra. Watch the interview of the sole survivor of that terrible plane tragedy in India during the week, and no shock to hear that he was a Mart's Map Platinum member. It's also a real shame Rusty isn't here to give us a 5-minute tip about his favourite animal, money trees.
Yeah.
Does look hard to beat, mind you. That's Zach from Burswood.
Zacko, and we also need a yachting update too, don't we, for the GP 1000 or whatever it was.
Well, when I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
There he is. That is from our man Russell. He's over there in Vietnam just hitting it straight up the fairway. One punch, 3:30, a drifter. This is for Jefferson Sang. Can he join Holly Noddle? We know he's ridden winners before, but can young Jefferson, the 4-kilo claimer, get one home here, Riley?
Can ride.
Yep.
I'll give him that for sure.
All right, let's go to Richie. Should be up and about now after that.
Oh, yes, indeed.
There's never been a better time than now to stop what you're doing and tune in to Straight Up, TAB Radio's weekly podcast that will guide you through the difficult journey that is the punt. Whether it be racing or sport, the Straight Up team has your back. Now, from the studios of TAB Radio, welcome to Straight Up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trev. Always good to have you on the program. Make no mistake about that. As we have a look at race number 4 on Strickland Stakes Day at Pinjarra on Saturday, the Gannon's Racing Colours Handicap over the mile. You're going to get your racing colours, you get it from Gannon's. And one is Playhouse Patron is 26.2. Captain Chaos is 26. Now 3 Multinational is 6.50 and 4 Frigid at 6. 5 Miss Sky High 2.60. 6 Simply 9. 7 Without Reg is spec'd into 10. Classic Rogue is 15. Noteworthy 5.50. Not a lot of action here.
Brad, my name is.
Yeah. No, I'm just waiting for you to talk.
Yeah.
It's radio, mate. It's not TV.
It's okay, mate. We've only known each other for 100 years. Miss Sky High, 500 at the 260, 300 at the 260. Noteworthy, a couple hundred there at the $5. ESP's snipping away. It's Without Reginald. Just snipping away. And aside from that, yeah, not a lot to report, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thankless task, your job, Brad.
Oh,
you're getting clipped on Twitter and you're getting clipped on the text line for a set of prices that you didn't even do.
Yeah,
but I'm here for it. Keep them rolling in.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Smartsmats.com here. Look, there's 2 obvious leaders, Frigid and Multinational. They can sort it out between the 2.
Yeah, well said, Mark.
I concur.
Well said.
You don't have to pay for them. They're free.
Yeah.
Can we expect a bit more positivity maybe from Playhouse Patron? That one, maybe?
Not the worst theory, Bradley. Not the worst theory at all. Thought that was a live chance of happening for sure. Just hasn't been stepping all that cleanly. So that was my slight knock on whether... Because if Playhouse Patron could roll forward and find the lead or the breeze here, he could run a big race, I think. I think he could be a massive improver up to the mile. Miss Sky High was a huge run on return behind Love and War. She carted up the three wide train, still loomed at the 150 like she was going to win the race before Love and War found that split back towards the inside. You just... Most of the time, you're happy to just back Pike to find a spot with her here from the gate because I think she'll be very hard to beat if she does, but just not interested at the price. Happy to let her go around at the 260. I'd be looking for something a little bit better to get involved. There were some other really good runs through that same race last start as well, and I wouldn't surprise to see them come on quickly. Brad, I loved how Noteworthy's return this time in. I thought the trial leading in was terrific, and then the first up run under Ryan Houston, no luck, never got clear galloping room and just went to the line untested. And Without Reg, hasn't ticked that mile box yet, but gee, he was a big run off a freshen up last start through that same race as well.
Yeah, I concur, Ros. Without Reg, I would have been very keen at 1,400 the mile. I've just got very keen its last crack at the mile. So
he's a funny horse, isn't he? Because some of his runs at 1,400 metres, even his Grandstand Cup run over 1,500 metres, you'd think this horse will get a mile easy. And then every time he has actually stepped up to the mile, he's just been very plain.
Be one of yours, would it? Without the Reg Grundies?
I thought you were backing plain horses is my specialty.
Probably.
Yeah, and our man's back as well. Bradley McGinnity.
Oh, hi.
You say that with such enthusiasm, Mart.
From the Mundaring Hotel text line, what have we got happening there?
Just people clipping Bradley for today's Pinjarra meeting. Nice little meerkat in the last for Brad on his return. $51 into $10 advanced. There you go. Big go there in the last. So why'd you go up 51s there, mate?
Yeah, we're going to start a little co-op for dead meerkats because I reckon it's up to about 200,000. Mark started the trend, and now who's going to save all these meerkats? They keep not saluting.
Dutchie's back.
Oh,
Dutchie here, gentlemen. Have just tuned in to hear Morgan declare money trees, and he'd better hope they are real if he's going to go against my best of the day in He's Gold. So he's signing up with you.
He's Gold.
There, Bradley. Will be able to buy myself an earring like Freddie Kersley Sr. after it wins, although no promises it'll be going on the year.
Dutchie.
Good to see McManus has made it into the office this week after his pricing of Desert Whisper last Saturday. I thought it was December 25th. So just keep them coming. Keep them rolling.
Yeah, you text, you get on. That is our texting promise here on the Mundaring Hotel Straight Up.
We've got a couple more we can get through here. Right. We've just had our Royal Ascot. A couple of people texting in about Royal Ascot. So we've just had Rory Flanagan on with his tips there. That's Rick from Rossmoyne. So Rick from Rossmoyne is also with us, Mars. So he's got an interest tonight in Royal Ascot. So Rory's tips were just read out, and we can rehash them as well if you'd like at a later stage. Greg Ells also said, is there anything Brad wants to lay this week, racing-wise, I mean?
And just on...
You go on.
Just on that, you mentioned Kiprios and Stradivarius for the Gold Cup, but don't forget the great Yates, who won it 4 in a row as well for the Irish.
Sorry, apologies, Greg. I don't have a Lord Gannicus each way tip this week, and I hope you were smarter than me and had something on the place.
All right, let's go to our first leg of what used to be the Barbaro Butchers Quote, which is up for grabs. Tab Touch Scan and My Bet Handicap over the 1,200 metres. And One True Apostle is $5. Caporetto is $10. The Calabrese is $12. Lucky I Am is $4 from $4.80. 5 Skullbone and Pig 4 into $3.90. Alma Mater is $23. Allentown is $6.50 from $11. Ooh, Mean Machine 21 into 15. Mr. Raffles is 26. 31 Soldier of Gold. And Tasman Queen's out there at 201.
It's always good to come back into that mythical double-headed meerkat, Mart. It's always good. Local Pro, Keen Early, Lucky I Am, 500 at the 480. Skullbone and Pig, 300 at the 390. 300 at the 390. Skullbone and Pig, champion. The Calabrese, 200 each way at the 12 and 200 each way at the 950. Allentown, ESP's Keen Allentown, a couple hundred there at the 950, a couple hundred at the 650. Another couple hundred there at the 650. That's it's a good little go.
Mart, you would have needed a little breather having had to try and work out the map for this one.
Oh, it's an easy one. Just straight to the top. Lucky I Am. Barrier 2.
I hope so. And she's a horse who's going to turn for home and I think ask a few questions of her key rivals here, who I think are most likely to be in or close enough to the second half of the field. I really like her in this race, Mart.
Yeah, I think Caporetto from 3 is going to want to track her, isn't Caporetto wanting to do that?
Yep, thought Mean Machine could hold up leaders back from 1. Mr. Raffles, who knows what he's going to do? He's
wander.
He's going to... That's all he knows how to do, really, is wander. I think this is a good race for Lucky I Am. She's a filly in form. She's running time. She leads this on her ear, and I thought she'd have a nice buffer of horses around her. The horses we mentioned, Mean Machine, Caporetto, potentially Mr. Raffles if he rolls forward and then rolls off the track most likely. True Apostle, a horse that could roll forward as well to just separate her from some of her key dangers out the back, horses like the Calabrese and also Skullbone and Pig, who I wouldn't anticipate settles in the first half of the field.
No, it's better back.
Especially off that first up run. So Lucky I Am at around that $4 mark. I think that's an easy bet for me to have to hopefully lead and pinch it again. She's just thriving, being ridden for speed over 1,200 metres at the moment, Brad.
Yeah, can't argue. However, I'm not keen Lucky I Am. I'm going to have my one and done bet for its career, Skullbone and Pig. I think this is I know it had was scratched due to an excuse a little while back, so I think there's a mucus issue there, which a few of us are well aware of. Skullbone and Pig, 420, 440, whatever around the traps, that'll do as a sort of, if it's ever going to put one on the board, this should probably be it. But I'm intrigued by the Toppy True Apostle as it gets to $6 plus around the traps. That was some trial. That was really the trial of a horse that I think might have come back a pretty nice animal.
Like Aaron Patterson type trial, was it?
No, it wasn't sleepy. There was nothing sleepy about it. There was nothing hidden. No. There was nothing beneath the
surface.
crust.
No love for the Calabrese, Brad. beat home the best horse in WA, Bunbury last start?
He can run a race, but it's not. No, not for me.
How about, this is the first time Pike's ridden Skull, Bone and Pig, isn't it?
Yeah.
He might work this horse out.
It is the sort of horse too where you got to William on can be worth a bit. He can work these ones out.
Just the mucus. I don't like when they're found with mucus, Mark.
Oh, they clear it up. It's just like having a bit of a cold.
Yeah, still.
Shot of penicillin and
it's not ideal.
Straight back on the pitch.
I'm backing my trainer in there, Lukey Fernie.
Yeah, little.
He's been very good with mucus horses in the past.
Little Jordan flu game. Flu game for Skullbone and Pig this weekend.
Allentown. What about this money for Allentown?
Did you see it coming, Rolls?
Well, probably not, no. Hasn't been too bad in 2 runs back. But they can have it again, can't they?
It's an interesting one. It's an interesting go, but,
if this rain
they get as many of these riders they get wrong, the ESPs, when they smash into them.
If the rain comes, and you would think...
coming on.
If the rain's coming.
The rain's coming.
If it comes. It's by Charm Spirit out of Pins. It's a dead set, bred to be a swimmer, and drawn out wide. My little point I made about CJP earlier, and you two weren't really that keen about it. Off air, I think he's riding these wet tracks, getting to the outside better than any other jockey in WA at the moment. He finds the path, tracks it, and this will be perfect for Allentown.
Well, my argument off air was that I think he's just a gun jockey in general, but that's... You can sort of lead this conversation.
Yeah, but you wanted to hang him on one ride last week. Every jockey gets beat on him.
We
all make mistakes.
We love Portsy. I'm allowed to still have nightmares though about first encounter last week. I think I'm allowed that, right, Mark?
I think as we follow a bit more about how these ESPs operate, these algorithm punters, when there is either a jockey who is hot or especially a trainer and jockey combo that is hot, and there are probably none hotter than Grantham and CJP at the moment.
And the owner as well, set of colours, throw them in.
They tend to capitulate. Yeah, the prices tend to capitulate. And we saw that with Opportunistic in the Raconteur Tour last Saturday as market mechanisms pulled that from about $10 into about $3.60. And when you go back and look through the books nationally, there weren't that many punters that were on it. It was just a move that was absolutely guided by those ESPs.
So what are we doing here?
I'm having something on Lucky I Am to lead all the way. No?
Lucky I Am for the Jimmy Taylor, Jason Brown, drawn to lead by Universal Ruler. You're all over that, Riles. Wet track, loves it.
Soft lead.
And everyone's a winner. 10 minutes away, Pinjarra, race number 8, the Swan Draft. If only they sold it at Optus Stadium.
Only they sold it in this studio.
Got some in the back of my car.
21 into 650 here in this next race, Flash Paddy.
Yeah, right.
You didn't set these?
I think we've made that clear, champion.
They did bet 23s.
You're on fire today.
Well,
those edibles, they are treating you well.
Get your bets. And you know what else? Richie Bell's got this on top. 3, 2, 5 and 9. So he would have availed himself, I'd imagine. Okay. Let's go to our next event. And this is at Pinjarra on Saturday, so don't get confused. And get caught with your pants down.
Duffy's not happy with you, Brad. We might get to that after the break.
The Batteries and More Handicap. Race 6 over the 1,000 metres. So we're up the straight. And one Lord Shiva, 460. 2 Military Powers, 23. 3 Kraken Time is 7,850 back into 7. Want a Winner, 444. Lost Gravity is 23. Chino La Diva is 41. Empress of India is 31. Earth God is 20. Haida Guai is 9 into 650. Magnique, 18 into 950. And Promising is 650, 550. There's a bit going on here.
It's the old half your price, Mart.
Wow. Somebody's out there smoking. Can you smell it? It is just a disgraceful effort.
Must be at the cricket.
Want a Winner. Early money there, 600 at the 4, 600 at the 440. Earth God's been well snipped away at the big each way prices. There's quite a lot of bets lining up for Earth God, so obviously where there's smoke, Mart.
There's a smoker out the back.
Actually, let's tell you, right. Chino Ladiva, a couple hundred each way. Some good out wide punting. Lord Shiva, 300 there at the $5. Promising local pro money, 200 at the 6. ESPs, Keen, Hyder, Guai, and Kraken Time. This is and Magnique, as we've seen by the go. So this is a really good betting race. There are a heap of different opinions.
What do you think about this map there? Okay, so Lord Shiva's going to want to come over from barrier 5.
This one's down the straight, yeah, Mark?
Yeah, it's got. That's what I said, mate. Come over from barrier 5.
Get over.
No, I read someone else's tips earlier, and it said bad draw for want a winner out wide.
Okay, promising from 3. It might want to follow 5 across, from barrier 5 across, possibly. There was another one in here I thought could be poking its nose in. Well, with all that's going on, Hyder Guile just come across and want to position up too, wouldn't it, from 8?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd think so.
Nice horse, Hyder Guile.
There's a bit going on in this speed. Yeah. There's a bit of pace.
Yeah, I'm very keen. Really keen want a winner. Undefeated 3-year-old. I thought he trialled super behind Horcrux leading in a trial where they cleared the 1,000 metres in some very slick time, and he wasn't fully extended over the concluding stages. The last time we saw him at the races, he was first up. He was hammered in betting, and he convincingly accounted for Keep It a Mystery, and he's got the safe, and that's pretty good 3-year-old form with how those two horses have gone since then. He's got the safe as that form around Pondmaster, and Keep It a Mystery is a 72-plus type of an animal as well. It was a proper win, just the manner in which he won that day as well. Brad just peeled off heels and just really went bang over the concluding stages, posted a really strong figure in doing so as well. He was a dominant trial winner on a rain-affected surface a bit earlier in his career as a 2-year-old as well. He's drawn obviously the right part of the straight track out there in barrier 11, and for mine, it's just looked every bit a proper horse, this bloke. He's still a colt. They haven't seen the need to geld him just yet, and as you mentioned, there is a bit of depth to this field, no doubt about that. Lord Shiva's flying. Promising's a really nice filly. She's a dominant winner down the straight as well, but I just think this is a nice setup for a horse that could be going places, and you're getting a nice enough price, I think, at that $4 mark to find out as well with Want a Winner.
Yeah, my slight knock on it, still had it pretty much sort of, second favourite, definitely. I think it might be better around the corner. We're always guessing in this regard. It just looks like the sort of horse that would go better around the corner, and some of them can be a bit green down the straight, especially in their first look. But, gee, this does look a nice horse. It's certainly going places. I think the form from this race is going to be huge, isn't it, Rolls?
Yeah.
Like, there's just good horses everywhere here, so we'll be following a few of these. I'm happy to take the each way $5 Lord Shiva. I think it's had a crack down the straight. It's just come back humming this prep, and I think it'll be very, very hard to beat.
So how are we playing this, Riley? What are you going to do?
It's a funny. I'm not usually one that gets overly keen down the straight, but it's a funny program. There's not a lot of races with where I see a great deal of value that's perked my interests, and I think this is a really nice horse. And the fact that we are getting $4 about him, I think that's a nice enough price to find out if he can handle racing down the straight. He's drawn the right side. I think that's a nice play at that price at the moment, how it situates itself. So Want a Winner, one of the better bets in the program for mine, Marty. Currently
at $4, a little bit of specking there from $4.40. Again, you're talking about combinations. You know, you got those colours and the trainers and the jock, etc.
Great to have Chris Barnum back. I know he was back yesterday, but it's great to have him back.
Sure is.
How is he? Is he okay? All set, ready to go?
Looked good on him. Looked good on him yesterday.
Yeah. Fred from Fremantle's actually texted in asking about how the peng is. Is he on holiday again at that hotel in Hakea where he's only able to make collect calls?
Yeah, he's missing in action. That is for sure. We can't find him anywhere.
We've reached out. We've done all we can.
Yep.
There's nothing there.
What else we got for the Mundaring Hotel?
Oh, geez. Duppy. I hope HR aren't listening. Says, great get the flannel. Rory Flanagan. He single-handedly put my kids into private school, and I get that Stradivarius was a champion, but you can't just be getting your Sean Donger out whenever you feel like it, the big fella. The last time Duppy did that, he ended up with one of your ankle bracelets, Mart.
And for good reason, Dubster.
Brad very quick to throw the rest of the Tab team under the bus on Twitter and point the finger at anyone but himself. Anyway, doesn't mean much when faceless accounts are potting you. Stay strong, champion.
And I'm sure Duppy's his real name too. Speaking of faceless accounts.
And Benny from Bunbury, afternoon lads, love your work. Speaking of jockeys, Mart, any idea where our best is? P. Harvey.
The Pont. We were asked about this on Wednesday, and I'm not having a shot, but I don't think the Pont's going to be making a comeback in the middle of winter, just knowing the Pont as I do, and his body's have a few aches and pains.
When he last spoke about his comeback, he was supposed to have already begun riding again, so clearly there's been a setback along the way.
We'll do a bit of digging. Who was that from?
Benny from Bunbury.
Oh, Benny. We'll do some digging and make a phone call. I'll have an answer tomorrow afternoon, as long as I remember to do it.
Set 5 alarms.
Oh, yeah, we've got Brad coming up at 5 too.
You are kidding.
No, 5:30. It'll be a bit later today. Won't later start.
Yeah.
How good was the traffic here last night? State of origin.
What's weird?
We won't mention names, but I due to knock off at 6 and got out of here at 20 to 7. It is just amazing.
I did have a bit of a chuckle at one of Greg's text messages from yesterday about that. It was just in the top of his text that he sent in, and he says it took him an hour and 10 minutes last night to get from Osborne Park to Canning Highway.
Oh, it's
hour and 10.
It is relentless. But there was 60-odd thousand over there.
It's about 4 kilometres.
Yeah. Well, I've only got to go.
Far.
I've only got to go about 150 metres, and it takes me 30 minutes.
100.
His theme song is pretty good. Can you just picture the Mundaring going off singing this to the big fella up on the stage here? You and the butcher dancing.
Oh, Bradley.
All right, let's have a look at it. We're on the big one, the Strickland Stakes, sponsored by Swan Draft. What a sponsor. Group 3, 2,000 metres. And they've come for Western Empire. We have a scratching here too, a lot of good men. What did he take out of it all?
Oh, about 80 cents, mate.
Right. So Western Empire,
all of it.
We've just got people text in and want to know. They want transparency. $2.30 to $1.85. Triple Missile is into $9.50. Hemlock Stone is $4.60. River Rubicon 31. Ginger Baker 21. Starry Heights 51. Buckets Ridge 10. Fear the Wind is 51. Admiration Express. They've got a bit keen here. 9 into $5.50.
My coach at South Mandurah, a little part owner. He's pretty keen.
That'll get him a game on. When are you playing? Saturday?
Yeah, he might be a little bit. Not sure he'll be completely invested in the game at 4:20.
I think
you'll be 10 in front by then anyhow.
Some of my wife's family actually have a share in Admiration Express as well, but I probably shouldn't say that after they've backed at $9 and a $5.50. Western Empire ESP unleashed today, so that's the trim up there. Hemlock Stone, plenty of local snipping away, including 600 there at the 480. Admiration Express ESPs, they've got stuck in, a couple of 200 each ways, a couple of 100 each ways. Plenty of bets lining up there. That's about it.
Very hard to find the leader, but I'm going with Ginger Baker from 1 and Bradley. He likes to lead in these type of distance races, doesn't he?
She's a Lionel speed map, this one.
Yeah.
Fear the Wind might head forward, maybe.
Yeah, it's another one.
Dutchy reckons it's no surprise it takes Mart 30 minutes to get home 150 metres away when you've seen his maps.
Oh, that's a ripper. Who's that?
That's our good friend Dutchy.
Dutchy.
That's good.
Yeah.
And, Jim, come on, Jim. The Pommy Pie.
What's he done?
He's sending very fruity material through, and we are a PG show. We can't be going to air with that, Jim.
I didn't
unfortunately.
think Jimmy was like that.
Oh, he's
not that sort of an operator.
He's gone a bit randy
Feral.
this afternoon. A little bit little bit randy.
So this main event of the day, does it get back to? Does this horse handle the if it's going to be a heavy track? Is that a conviction against this heavily backed favourite?
Yes, at the price for sure.
How confident are we about, as an older horse, him getting a strong 2,000 metres as well? I understand that he's obviously won a Derby and all the rest, but
as a 3-year-old,
there's a few of us that separate 3-year-old staying form from older horse staying form, and so is that another box maybe that he needs to tick strongly, Riles?
I think the track conditions, with what we are expecting, they will bring him back to the pack. And then you go back and you watch his run on a soft 5 at Belmont in last year's Strickland, and I thought he was disappointing. Let's Gallivant ran straight past him. He had a perfect card into the race. He did sit last, but they really bunched on the corner, and you thought, how far is this horse going to win by at the top of the straight? $1.35 favourite, and then peaked on his run late. And he's clearly going super. That run, he had no right to win.
Phenomenal.
In which he did in the Hyperion. But $1.85, there's just no value there. With Western Empire for mine on the weekend. I'm pretty keen. I think Hemlock Stone's a great bet.
Yep.
I think Hemlock Stone is a great bet in
With
the
you.
Strickland on the weekend. It would be fascinating to see how close he would have got had he had clear galloping room from the top of the straight in that Hyperion. Being a Perth Cup winner, you'd suggest that 2,000 metres now would be right up his alley. A wet track is certainly not going to worry him off his prior form. And he showed last start, Mart, that first up run in the Belmont Sprint was certainly no fluke or a stayer's run fresh with how he travelled into that race over the mile before he was chopped out. You listened to Grant Williams on the Sports Daily this morning, and he said, gee, this horse has never been as good as he is at the moment, and he's actually chilled out a bit as well. He's settled. He was quite a headstrong horse early doors and didn't really settle in his races, Brad, which is maybe my only slight concern with him, given there isn't a lot of pace on paper in this race, is he has shown a tendency before to get a bit fierce and want to overdo things a little bit without that tempo that he enjoys. But, gee, I thought he would have gone mighty close with clear galloping room last start. Like the jockey change, your man CJP on board, Mart. I think the gap in price between the two is far too great and makes Hemlock Stone an easy bet for me in the Strickland on the weekend.
Part of me expects him to drift out a little bit more too, Hemlock Stone, so it might be quite attractive by the time they jump, because that Western Empire price does look like it's going to hold. One I would love to drift and get involved in is Buckets Ridge. I really liked its return. This is a stayer, Mart. This is a serious stayer, Buckets Ridge. I really like this horse. I think it's got plenty of upside, and for a horse like it, with this sort of map at the 2,000 second up, everything seems to be about in the right spot for it to run a really good race.
Yep, agree.
No, I'm with you. I'm with Peter Morley and Grant, CJP, Hemlock Stone. It's one on the heavy. And
It's just come back a better horse, I think.
Yeah.
I think
you know, remember when he won, and then Pete was doing a lot of post-race interviews and that, and he said, he could be a Melbourne Cup horse, and everyone sort of giggled. But if he was to come out and go bang and win this, do you reckon he's going to, well, let's have a little crack at it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'm not sure last year's Melbourne Cup winners scaring people
No.
to come and have a crack.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I don't see why not. That's their dream. That's what they aspire
Oh, for sure, 100%. Imagine if you could get all the owners across there for Cup Day.
Yeah, 100%.
Imagine if he won it. He might retire.
Yeah, we wouldn't see him.
He
again.
could retire
We wouldn't
him.
hear from him again. Triple Missile and Admiration Express both have to be respected heavily, I think, and I never thought I'd say that about Triple Missile at 2,000 metres, but you sometimes see these horses as they get a bit long in the tooth. They can race a bit more, or they can get out over a bit more of a trip. A once-upon-a-time dynamic 1,000 to 1,400 metre sprinter. The way he finished off over the mile last start, that was a incredible performance. The horse is clearly very, very well, Marty.
Is the tempo going to give Triple Missile a chance to get the distance?
Potentially.
That's a very good point. Hasn't Donna got that horse flying? Just
Done
a great job.
Everything going. Doing a terrific job.
I think this is, you take out, and you might, some connections, if they are listening, may think I'm being a little harsh, but I think if you take out the bottom 4 in the market, the top 5, Buckets Ridge rounds that out at $10 and has to be respected. He's a class staying tight. It's a competitive race.
So Admiration Express is another. Now, she can position up on the pace.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought she'd land first 3.
Yeah. Because in that period, was it a 3-year-old year or a 4-year-old year when she was in that really good form? There was a couple of times she was right up on the speed.
Yep. She won an Oaks off the top of my head. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it was the race before the Oaks. She won something. She won a really nice race as a 3-year-old. I bet.
She ran 3rd in the Oaks.
So
she won that 1,000 guineas.
She won that 1,000 guineas and bolted in. Absolutely smashed them.
And that race before the challenge, when she over raced.
Yep.
Yeah, Feels Playful beat it. Then she behaved herself in the 1,000 guineas. Then 3rd in the Natasha. She's fit. Won the Oaks.
2nd in a Group 1 Northerly Stakes 2 starts ago. 3 starts ago. So.
Champion fillies winner as well. So, yeah, don't.
It's pronounced champion.
Of course it is. It's your name, Richard, is it?
I've
been
been called versions of that.
Speaking of Richards, we do have to send a cheerio off the text line from Dave. That Richie Bell is one great race caller. He was all over what just happened in the last just then.
We did describe it well.
And Fred from Fremantle suggesting you might need a... Oh, we might just let that one through to the keeper, Fred.
Right. Go to the last on Strickland Stakes Day out there at Pinjarra and the Belmont Guineas at Pinjarra Park. 28th of June, handicap over the 1,400. One Falcon Trader is 31. Galaxy Affair 31. Kelvinator is 10. 6 Shooter 6. These are all been spec'd. The Storm is $6. Sun Bronzed at 16. Alaskan 51. Macchiato 51. Mama Tembu is 15. Planet Cash 21. Bellini Miss 51. Costa Zeta is 15. Arcadia Knight 21. Bohemian Diamond 420. Regal Statue is 650. And Storm Commander 71. Emergency's in there as well.
Where do I start, Mart? Big field, competitive field.
That's what I used to say to the therapist.
6 Shooter, local Pro Keen, 300 at the 750, 300 at the 650. Mama Tembu, I get that, 150 each way there at the 13. Regal Statue, 300 at the 750, local Pro Keen there. 200 at the 8. Earthstorm, local Pro Keen, 200 at the 650. Macchiato, a bit of money there, 100 each way at the big price. Geez, when we get into these, what are the SPs snipping away at? Earthstorm. Just Earthstorm. That was disappointing.
How'd you go mapping this one?
I think we can find the leader. It's a big field, I know, but you just know that Freddie Kersley, Jared Noski, Kelvinator, he likes the free wheel, doesn't he?
Kelvin.
From gate 4. 6 Shooter comes across from 11. Sun Bronzed will kick up from 3. But Kelvinator will lead. Sun Bronzed. Costa Z to try and come across? No. It'll hang
possibly.
back.
Handy.
Yeah, it could do, couldn't it? Yeah, but I'm happy with that.
With Donga?
Kelvinator to lead. Hey, Donga was beautiful today.
No, I just mean he's not exactly an aggressive.
No, he's not, but, don't stereotype the man.
Just got to call it how I see it, Mark.
Yeah. So there we have it. Do you agree with that? Kelvinator leading?
Oh, Kelvin, of course.
Freewheeling?
I concur.
Straight to the top. Bradley?
Riley.
Help me.
In what regard?
Oh, this final race. Everything about it. No. You know what? I will say, and Greg texted in asking if I had a long price tip like Lord Gannicus last week. We were close, but not close enough, unfortunately.
Got the speed map right.
Yeah, I think Sun Bronze is a big price.
Yeah.
At around that $16 mark. It was $19 at one stage. That was sharp snipping, whoever got that. never going to be suited last start, this horse, dropping back to 1,200 metres, middle of the prep. Back up to 14 here. Rain-affected track to his liking. Maps for near on the run of the race with a lot of key dangers right out the back you'd anticipate in running, Greg. So I think you could do a lot worse and have something each way. Maybe more on the place. $4.60 a drum at the moment on Sun Bronzed in the last. Harrows hasn't got many going around at the moment, but the ones that are going quite well.
Yep.
They're going really well. So Sun Bronzed in a very open race looks value. $16 for mine. I think Earthstorm finds a good setup if Chris Parnham can just jam her in somewhere with a bit of cover. She's returned in very good order. It's last start at 1,200. Toughed it out late with a pair of 3-year-olds I think go pretty good. Pondmaster, and also he's got the safe. Third up now to 1,400 metres. Both her runs at 14 last preparation were very good. So I think Earthstorm's a live chance of blousing them late. Mama Tembu now gets Pike. That's going to get some punters at that price. Regal Statue. I like that form reference, Brad. I think that's a race you can follow with a bit of confidence behind Objectify and Woburn Gold, that dead heat. This is a bit weaker, I would think, and she just might be looking for 1,400 at this stage of her career, so it wouldn't surprise me to see her loom with the right run, and there's clearly been some support there for her as well. And I guess the most intriguing runner in the field is the favourite, Bohemian Diamond. And while she is up in class, I still thought she was very disappointing despite the wide run last start after how dominant her win was. Fresh, yes, she was 3 wide, no cover, but they didn't get along at a real genuine clip. She looked to be in a nice enough rhythm, and she just didn't give a yelp in the run to the post. She drops 4 kilos here and maps a treat from the barrier for Lucy Fiore. And if she can bounce back, I expect that her best would measure up in this sort of company, Brad, but don't think there's a great deal of value there at the $4 currently.
Yeah, and there's a few we haven't discussed that can also be made huge cases for at their prices. Planet Cash was a much better run last start.
Yeah.
Obviously going well. Arcadia Knight trolled fantastically, and it just looks like it might have come back a pretty nice horse as well. Sunbron is what you were talking about earlier, Rolls. I love the fact that it's back off the 2 weeks. I reckon it may not have loved the bounce. I know Harrow's been pretty open about the horse having a few confirmation issues, so may not have appreciated that. Looked to be laying in just a touch, so may not have enjoyed
Tough horse as well, like a horse you can put into the race and take over on straightening that'll keep giving plenty. So
there's plenty of ways to go in this race. It's I'll probably back 3 of them and have a big quad.
What about our punters out there? Anyone got an idea who can win the last there? This big field on Strickland Stakes Day. I think the Cerise and White may jag it. Don't know which one, though. Arcadia Knight off a good trial, as you said. I wish it only had the one trial.
Yeah.
And Regal Statue is CJP 10. He's out. He'll be getting to the outside.
Stop it.
And storming down the outside.
Oh, the race is over.
Easy, Mart. Easy.
There it is.
Settle, big fella. Easy.
Portsy.
Tell you who we got hold of last week. I've got to say we did a very good job on that young Hudson O'Keefe for Carlton. I declared him one of the best we've seen. He did a hammy. He's gone for 6. Probably him for the year.
You stopped him. Are you gonna put the stops on this weekend?
It's not Portsy. I'm not trying to get you, mate. I'm admiring your work. I want to ask about this favourite, Bohemian Diamond. What are we doing there? Like every man, his dog wanted to be on it last start.
Yeah, well, things can go wrong with horses second up, with horses in general. After you always forgive them one.
Yep, you do.
You always forgive them one.
So are you forgiving one?
Yeah, she's a nice horse.
Yeah, she can win for sure. I just thought that, given she was she had excuses, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more fight than what she showed last start in that company. Not the strongest race. This is a lot deeper. But she does get a good map, good jockey, and a nice little drop in the weights as well. Okay.
Another weird sort of way to look at this race too is that Summer Dixon's running 3 in the race. Don't see that very often, do you?
No,
Macchiato, Mama Tembu, and Planet Cash. Planet Cash doesn't go too bad in the wet.
Yeah, it's very much improved last start. Mama Tembu is ready to run a race. It'll get me for something. Mama Tembu, it already has, and it probably will again.
Yeah.
No.
Blackfriars mare. Wow.
Couldn't talk you out of much in this race, to be honest.
All right. Well, let's start to work now on our best bets on the program. What do you like, Riles?
Well, Greg L's clipping me now. He's changed tact from Brad. He says, I've got less declarations nowadays than the Aussie cricket team.
Yeah,
so.
that's fair. That is a fair. If he's getting paid per tip, Greg, he wouldn't be making much.
I'll give you a few declarations here, though, Greg. I'm going against Vincent Kennedy McManus across the table from me in race 2 with Money Trees. I think he's a nice animal and gets a lovely setup there. So Money Trees in race 2. We can roll that into First Encounter. Anything sort of even money plus. I think First Encounter will be winning race 3 on the program. Race 5, something on Lucky I Am. Not a max bet sort of area, but something on Lucky I Am, who gets an uncontested lead, running time at the moment. She's going super, likely to hold a field advantage, turning for home on her main dangers, I thought. So at the $4, that's something, you can have something there. Really keen at the $4, want a winner down the straight, race 6, drawn the grandstand rail. I think he's a really nice colt. And great bet in the feature, Hemlock Stone, value, or the value for me in the market at the moment at the $4.80. So 5 plays for me on Saturday, Mart.
There you go. You've really bucked the trend, haven't you there, Riles? Text here too from Lockie Taylor. He's sent a thumbs up. I don't know what that means. It probably means on Lucky I Am, is it?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Lockie's
Bit of positive reaffirmation there.
What was he wearing today?
Oh, no, the blue jumper number. It was obviously some sort of uniform they were both wearing, him and Michael.
Yep.
They look good?
Yep, look great.
Yeah,
Fred Kersey had the same one on too. So it was obviously a bit of a team blue jumper type setup.
With the brown shirt.
Bit of pre-planning.
We love a bit of synchronised fashion.
The Hall of Famer.
Well, race 2, he's gold each way, $12. Race 5,
hang on. You've got to go slower, mate. Come on. Race 2.
Been told that a few times. Race 5, Skullbone and Pig, $4.20. Race 6, Lord Shiva, $5.50.
Oh.
Yeah, race 2, he's gold, $12.
Lord Shiva. Okay.
Mitchie.
Right. Old Taylor, I've smoked him out. What's he come? He's come back here and he's laughing his head off at it. Heading home nice and dry in the car.
Mike sending through a same race multi for the feature. He says, Ginger Baker loves the wet boys. Same race multi, top 4.
It was a pretty good run last start, Ginger Baker.
Admiration Express, the win. So, bit of value there.
Same race multi.
Yeah, you can do that actually these days, Mark.
Yeah, have you ever done one?
Yeah, done a couple actually.
Have you?
And he also asks, he poses a question anyway. He says, how has Carberry been dumped off Hemlock Stone? Pretty stiff.
It's not a bad point he makes.
Yeah. It's a fair point from Mike. I just thought maybe they just...
Well, he's riding Starry Heights, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the stable, mate, so he has been given the flick.
I'll tell you what.
Maybe it was Big Pete's decision.
We're not talking about giving the flick at all, but geez, you've been good today, Bradley.
I'm pretty happy to be given the flick.
No, mate. We need you.
We hope you enjoyed another stimulating episode of Straight Up. All betting markets supplied by Tab Touch. All care, no responsibility went into the production of today's podcast.